Well, let's get into the green room.
It's funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, the zombie thing was crazy though, because I have
chaos is chaos.
this is chaos, but I mean, come on, these people are like, I was
I didn't
watching.
hear that
Oh
actually.
God, yeah, it was like, welcome to the green room, everybody.
We're in the
talking
green
about
room.
chaos before the chaos, and luckily we are not zombies this morning, as some right-wing people thought we needed to wrap up our cell
Well,
phone.
I heard about the national alert thing. It was
Yeah,
2:00 or
It's
2:12.
2:20.
2:20 is what it was, not 4:20. That would have been funny.
Funny.
Yeah, that would have been.
I'm like,
But
that's funny.
the conspiracy theory.
Oh God.
theory
Oh,
spot
well, we
behind it.
actually even had a patient come in and said, she actually,
Oh yeah, the guys told me that.
yeah,
yesterday.
she said, I will not be coming into the office at 2:20 on Wednesday because I have to guard my electronic devices, and I'm
Wow.
afraid that if I come into your offices, something's gonna happen.
Sure.
So, oh, there.
So his cell phone knows that there was the national alert yesterday. That's good. They get a hold of us kind of whenever they want and need to.
You know what?
Not that they don't listen to us.
They listen to us anyway, but you know what? I think that whole
Talk about
Maui.
conspiracy theories.
Yeah, but I think that whole Maui thing where people weren't getting notified
Sure.
of the fires, I think this is why
Right.
it's kind of a reaction to say like, okay, we need to test our
Chaotic summer.
chaotic year.
I know.
Honestly,
Chaotic life,
chaotic
you know.
life.
No, everything. No, but chaos is chaos.
This
And
is chaos.
you know, listen, when we have guests, and we've had some great shows recently, and we
Yeah,
had
no,
Jody
yeah.
in last week, but when we have our guests, we tend to get right into topic
Yeah.
and we don't get a chance to vent. How do we get to the same word? No, listen, everybody has to know. And listen, welcome to the green room. We
Yeah.
have so many
Chaotic
people
story.
that watch. No, people that watch now from really all over
All
the
over
place.
the
I know we had our New
place.
Mexico thing a couple
We
weeks
do.
ago.
We have people that tune in from New Mexico, Illinois, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode
So
Island.
just to bring everyone up to speed, we're what, Donna, 150th episode or something like that, or 152nd. I know. And really, it started as therapeutics for
Still is.
Ruta and I. It still is,
Still is.
and continues to be.
Yeah.
Because really, as we've watched just what's gone on around us, you know, you just need an outlet. You
Yeah.
need to vent. And I want to vent right now about what I'm watching right now in New York City with, you know,
Water?
former President Trump's trial.
Oh yeah.
He's literally being brought down to what everybody's
Else is
pretty much always known that he's been,
yeah.
which is a huckster, a shuckster, an exaggerator, a minimizer when he needs to be.
Everything.
And you
Stuff
just
plain out liar.
that. And I hate the example towards me, the poor emergency physician, now businessman,
Yeah.
okay, who runs a reputable medical cannabis practice that has to follow these
All
insane
rules.
and that's chaos,
Yeah,
okay?
we can talk about that
We
because
will.
the chaos in our industry is not
So we follow the rules for a reason
Yeah.
because there's a rule of law.
there is.
And
And
I just
everyone-
like the example of this schmuck.
I
Can I call him that? Is that
You can call
okay?
him schmuck. Schmuck.
Yeah, I know. Schmuck is okay.
Schmuck is probably-
He goes to New York too, because that's what he always wanted to be, whatever, king of New York or whatever. But he ran for
Oh,
president
I hate him.
and now brought all this focus on him. And the reason all these cases are there is because he's illegal. It's just what he's
And
always
he is
done.
illegal. Like for his claims, he is the
And
most
I just
illegal
know, listen, when I was
operating
reading to him before we got to the green room last weekend here in Venice, Don, I don't know if you saw it, you get the gondolier, I don't know. There was the Fight for Flynn, Fight Like Flynn rally at the Venice Community Center, featuring Mike Flynn, who lives in Englewood, works in Venice, is what they said in the article, and also Roger Stone.
Oh yeah, Roger Stone's.
Hang on, they were the two main speakers at the sold out fundraiser, okay, for the PAC, which is what it is, okay?
Only in Florida. Only in
And,
Florida.
you know, listen, it was pretty incredible. And really, I got to give credit to the Venice Gondolier for covering the event.
Yeah, good job, Dennis.
And no, listen, it was a great article too. And the editor wrote an editorial about why he actually covered the event and gave it front page
Because
coverage.
people need to know
'Cause
there's
it's
a
a
bunch
huge
of
event.
wackadoodles out
You
here.
know, there's people that are followed by millions of followers,
I know.
Ruta, and you
And
know,
it's
they had some people
frightening.
there
It's
off of social
really
media,
frightening.
Don, you know, who I never recognized, but I know in those type of circles are well recognized. But we're a hotbed here.
We are. We're like it's
Funding a criminal organization.
Well, you know, listen,
I know, isn't it a common?
know, so to me-
Don't you think?
I really think there's a time and a certain tipping point where I just don't think the Republican Party are going to be able to continue to support somebody who is just being shown to be a grifter and a fraud. And I know that's my hope and desire, but who's
I don't think so.
there?
No,
So
because
you look at Congress
look
as
at
it
Congress,
is. Okay?
Matt
Matt
Gaetz.
Gaetz.
Matt Gaetz is the guy who opens.
I
the
tried
door.
to get Matt for the green room this morning, but he was
Oh
a
my
little bit
God.
busy, you know.
Oh my God, Matt Gaetz. I'm sorry. How such a
No,
punk
he's being
is-
regarded right now as
I
pretty
just-
much dregs of
He
Congress.
is dregs of
and
Congress. He's dregs of society as a whole. The man's history is not a
I'm just
pleasant
not
one.
sure
Talk
what the-
about, talk about pedophile. The guy has like so many complaints against him, yet everybody again dismisses that. I'm like, wake up! Like these people are sick.
It's just the people that are running. It's just the people that are running. You know, really, what we need for guidance, what we need for leadership. It's just not happening up there. And I'll be honest with you, I'm fearful of where we're going. You know, to that extent. I don't. You know,
the law. This is the thing that.
but they don't follow. You have to follow the law. We have to follow the law.
For some reason, this new wave of Republicans.
I don't get it.
They're not.
I don't understand it.
And yet, thank God, though, a lot of people, they're going like this.
They're against the
but-
funding of Ukraine too, which that's the entire other show.
So yeah, but the thing is, like for what they did and how they did it, I mean, to leave the House without a speaker is ridiculous. And
First time it's ever happened.
And you know what? These people are being allowed to kill our democracy. And yet the stupid Republicans, and I apologize, but you are stupid to support these kind of actions.
I don't
They
get
go-
it. I don't get it.
I don't. And I'm like, I have friends that are Republicans, but it's like,
I
what
think-
is wrong
I
with you
still
people?
think
Speak
it
up
comes-
against this. They're destroying the democracy
I still
right in front of your face.
I still think it comes down rooted to gerrymandering and
Yeah, it does.
security in districts where Matt Gaetz can do whatever
Whatever
he
he
thinks he wants to do because he's going to go back to a safe district
Yes.
and get reelected
Always. Matt Gaetz is like that's
or
the
attempt to
other
run for governor of Florida.
Oh, which he
rumor
wants
has
to-
it.
No, the rumor. Oh, big rumor has it. He wants
Talk
governorship.
about chaos.
Because he thinks he's going to have a spearhead all the way to the White House eventually, and God forbid that happen. Because somebody like Gates is worse than Trump.
You know, and
even.
our governor is somehow, you know, kind of recessed, you know, like a turtle into a shell or
It's like,
something.
because what is he going to do? Trump has the limelight of being a criminal and still getting more popular not votes, but popular support than DeSantis. And I honestly, it's like DeSantis isn't a picnic either, but you have a true criminal running for office, and it's okay.
But step out of the courtroom and feel that it's okay to slam the judge.
Yeah, and he's the judge.
And threaten the clerk. Okay, now he's got the gag order. And
Yeah,
now
now
he's
he's
talking-
but I think his own attorneys are like,
Sure, his intent is not to try to get into that orange jumpsuit and get that picture taken,
martyrdom.
you know, and get further martyred. I think it's his only
He's gonna be like,
play.
"Oh, woe is me, and like vote for me because look now the
But
system.
as a businessman, I'm offended. We can't overvalue,
as a business
okay,
person,
what
we can't.
we do. We follow the rules. Let's talk chaos.
Okay,
So,
okay.
so
We
another
need to
thing that's got me
blast
agitated.
medical marijuana.
Well,
first.
we do. No, another
And I
thing
do
that has
like
me
to talk
agitated, and
about
I'm agitated this morning.
Yeah,
They unfortunately canceled the National Marijuana Business Association meeting, which was October 16th.
being heralded as this huge event, so for them
It-
to cancel it.
It
is
was
amazing.
actually
I'm
Kim Rivers
sorry.
was announced as the keynote speaker.
It's weird.
And we had a lot of politicos coming. Rep Roach was going to be there and others. We knew
It's
that Director Kimball was going to sit on a panel. I was honored to be asked to sit on a panel. They canceled the event, and the reason that was given was because of legislative conflicts or something like that. I don't know, whatever.
I know,
But
somebody-
I'll be honest with you, I was really disappointed about it because
Me too.
there's chaos, and I want to bring it up from two big angles right now in the cannabis space. Okay. And funny, I was going to, you know, and I'll probably do that when I put it up later on YouTube or on Facebook, Don, from the YouTube, because I'm going to embellish it. There's chaos in government and there's chaos in cannabis right now too.
Yeah.
There's chaos in the ability to buy this type of garbage.
Yes, the garbage
Okay.
and the
In the smoke
yes,
shop,
the smoke
okay?
shops.
And there's garbage of what we have to deal with the OMU
This
every
is- so,
day.
So this has no regulation, and you can get it on a gas station. You
Right.
can get it, no regulation. Yet the medical industry, which is so heavily already being patrolled, keeps
I
getting.
mean, our
trapped,
staff is just basically being
Ex-
exhausted by what
exhausted.
needs to be done.
Because it's gotten to the point where you have to have, there's so much bureaucracy. And the thing is yesterday,
The
so
paperwork and the this and
I'm
that.
just showing,
please.
like, because if somebody's listening, I'm sorry, the OMMU needs to like get a life, because you call them as a provider, you get circled to a phone number and the person picks up and in verbatim said to me yesterday, We do not have anyone to answer the OMMU phone line, so you're being routed to us. They were down for 3 or 4 weeks, and it's going to be 3 to 4 weeks again before anyone picks up your phone line. Thank you. So what are you supposed to do? Meanwhile, down the pike, we're supposed to start getting requests for proposals in, and like they're changing. We have to do math every day of figuring out how many milligrams were ordered before. Like the chaos is insane for our staff.
So people may not remember when they came up with the dose cap limits. And I think what was it, a couple of Augusts ago, I think, or something like that. I went to Tallahassee, proud to lead a news conference, standing next to Nikki Fried, to the extent of the insanity, okay, of anybody, quite frankly, governmentally, bureaucratically, getting involved in the doctor-patient relationship, right? And in my clinic, okay, we had a routine order set that every patient obtained, and they got it for a reason, because we always wanted them to have access
but also in the middle lane. Like we were in the middle. We weren't extreme. We were never over prescribing anything.
But it was a routine order set that streamlined it so that my staff could pay attention to patient questions, patient concerns, educate patients.
Absolutely.
Now, because of the bureaucratic bundle of paperwork, it takes my staff away, quite frankly, from what I want to be doing, which is educating patients.
They don't have time because the paperwork is so insane that the state put on us.
It's useless, it's needless, it's repetitive.
It's repetitive. We have to keep for the people that are listening that are out of state, when you become a patient here, you have to go see a physician, like our office, then you go through the state, you get your card, and every 210 days you have to go back and see your doctor, whether now it's telehealth or in person. Well, the paperwork now that's required, before you're talking paperwork that may have taken, maybe 15 minutes per patient, you're now talking probably 45 minutes per patient because of the repetitiveness, because of having to get things uploaded, downloaded.
It's not just our office. We hear this in the doctor meetings we have every second or third. It's every office. And the reason I'm agitated that I'm not going to meet directly with Director Kimball, which I was really looking forward to because I haven't had the chance, is that when I met with Rep Roach at his event last week, Bart Hirschfield, another doctor, and I, we had Rep Roach convinced that we needed that muscle. And we do. We need to get together with our legislative friends, okay, and go to the OMU and say we need a seat at the table.
Absolutely.
And
so that this stuff doesn't fly. And yet
that's the second half of the chaos, and let's talk about our events first, because this is the good side of the cannabis space. So we have a big event coming up in Venice this weekend, guys, Reggae Nights.
That's
and our friend Paul Caldy is putting it on. Great guy.
Great event. Really family friendly.
Family friendly. Did it last year. And it's cooler.
This week, it's supposed to be a beautiful weekend. And we have our open house, and that's going to be on Friday, October 20th from 1 to 5. Everybody come, bring friends. We have a bunch of sponsors that are going to be here. We have Sunburn, Truly, Move, Flowery, Cureleaf, Cannabis. So come out, there'll be swag, there's going to be food, prizes, a lot of fun. Ask your questions for Dr. Barry and the staff of anything you want, and just a fun time all around. So
it's going to be great for patients that are, with us already. Come say, hey, we don't get a chance to see you all the time anymore because of telehealth. I miss listen, I tell my patients, I love telehealth. It's convenient, it's safe. We do. We miss the patients. I miss my handshakes and hugs. So that's a great time to come out and grab some cake and stuff like that. But also bring your friends that have interest in medical cannabis. Absolutely. Let people know about it, because it's a great chance to come in, see what's going on. The product room, of course, is unique. We'll have our MMTC friends, here to, discuss their specific products, and importantly, our staff, of course, here to answer any and all questions. We're not going to do certifications that afternoon, of course. That's not what we ever do, but we'll surely be making appointments, as per, and at Reggae Nights too. But no, listen, that's the other side of the chaos that I really want to discuss, because it's one of the reasons that I really wanted to hear what was going to be going on at the National Marijuana Business Association meeting, because I wanted to hear where next year's focus is going to be when it comes to the cannabis space, because my suspicion is, and listen, a couple other things that are important. Today, actually, is the oral arguments before the Florida Supreme Court about the cannabis and gun case. The cannabis and gun case.
Also bringing
and that Jody James and I know the Florida Can Crew is going to be there. And actually, and I was proud to be the doctor for one of the plaintiffs in the case. And and it's not HIPAA betrayal, it's Neil Franklin, but and he, of course, is the ex-law enforcement officer with concealed carry permit in all 50 states that never got his card after seeing me because he didn't want to give up his gun rights. So he's a plaintiff in the case.
Oh, wow.
The other big case coming up announced is November 8th oral arguments, Ruta, for the Smart and Safe campaign, which is the legal adult use, effort. Now, here's the point, everybody. Legal adult use to a certain extent in the gray market, okay, in the unregulated market, in the, I don't want to say gas station market.
But it
I have a lot,
also-
I have a lot of friends that are legitimately in the hemp space. I respect my legitimate purveyors of high quality hemp products, right? That legitimately try to source their products from the best places they can. Testing still needs,
There's
in
no
my
testing.
opinion, to be done at the state level
Absolutely.
by everybody, okay, for everybody. Any product
For
sold on
anybody,
a
for
shelf
consumers, it's
for
ridiculous.
consumers.
Everything
And it may
that's
add a little
consumer-based,
bit
I'm
at the
sorry.
end point price wise, and if consumer pays for it or retailer
But they need
pays
the
for
testing.
it, but
It
it needs to be
It
tested.
needs to be
Fair is
tested.
fair, and if
Yeah.
we're going to be as
And
scrutinized
regulated,
and regulated.
regulated.
But the
Tested,
point is, there's a
regulated.
legal adult use market right out there of this unregulated product, okay?
Yeah.
So I wanted to really see where the conversation was going to
Yeah, it
go
would've been interesting.
and where the focus was going to be.
It's really weird that they canceled such a big meeting. I don't know. It's odd.
But my suspicion is, quite frankly, and I've said this, and I've been public with this, I do not believe that the Supreme Court is going to let the Smart and Safe campaign on the ballot
I don't think
because
so.
I just don't think they want another
They
Democratic
don't.
boots on the ground issue to add to the tsunami of already pro-choice and women's
It's-
rights
they
and
can't-
voters' rights
rights
and gay and
book reading
and
rights.
book reading rights and all kinds of rights. So I just think that, the Supreme Court, political body that I think they are in Florida, fairly well recognized, I just don't think they're going to let it on.
No,
So to
I
me, that
don't.
means that something's going to happen legislatively. And I don't think this year, because Governor DeSantis told us so,
Yeah.
because he said no legal adult use under my
Under his
watch.
watch, yeah.
But I know that there's interest in finishing up what they tried to start last year, which was some degree of regulation in the hemp space.
And they need it badly.
And what they came up with last year, and believe me, and I have to give a shout out to the hemp space with some degree of respect to the extent of the lobbying money and effort that they got going last year to stave off
Yeah.
what was going to be complete disaster for them.
For them. But again, is that a good thing that they just paid a bunch of people off that it kind of disappeared? Yeah. I don't know.
Point is there's a safe middle ground for these products
Yeah.
with the appropriate regulation and safety
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
labeling and testing. But
Crazy.
the one thing you can't regulate, and we've spoken this in the green room before, you can't regulate honesty, and you
No.
can't regulate integrity.
Integrity.
And it's up to the purveyors of these products to legitimately
You would
be
think, to
honest
be
with
honest.
their customers. And I'm not saying that some aren't.
Okay.
Absolutely, some are.
Some are, but
you
I'm
know?
sorry. There's so many that, like I said, you drive down the road and you see THC, no medical card needed, no paperwork needed. Just come buy your THC from us. Like, I mean, come on.
And it's confusing to patients.
is very
And listen, I haven't
confusing.
told you that this yet, but I'm honored to have been asked to write an op-ed that I think is going to be fairly widely published. And that's because it's coming from a pretty big ask.
Mm.
But the purpose of the op-ed is going to be that we need to recognize 2023 for the multifaceted diamond, so to speak, that it is that cannabis here, yes, can be extremely helpful medically, of course.
Mhm.
And that's with education
With
and
education.
labeling and testing and understanding. But there's an entire other side as well that we need to be conscious of, which is abuse, which is overuse, which is appropriate labeling and testing,
Yeah,
and we have to be fair to the extent of recognizing, all aspects of it. But what I always point out to everybody is that it's critical in 2023 to recognize that 5 years ago, when we opened up this clinic, we weren't even talking about this aspect
Isn't
of
it
it.
weird how crazy
It
like,
is. It's rapidly changing.
it's
And 2
rapid.
years from now, it'll be different
very
because we're heading into the rescheduling of
Mhm.
cannabis from 1 to 3,
yeah, it
which,
starts
as we
changing.
all know, is not the best. Descheduling takes care of the criminality. Rescheduling does not.
Mhm.
So my point is, there's going to be consistent and persistent change, and the
Nobody
doctors
actually
need
is
to
up
be a
there.
part of the
They
conversation.
have to be, and
That's my
they
point.
can't just throw the thing is, the reason why you guys have to have a seat at the table, they still have to, they don't understand the impact that they're doing unless they're doing it purposefully against the practices that are practicing good medicine to their patients in the realm of cannabis. I think they don't understand how they're really.
Well, I have
hurting the
no idea if you
practices.
don't have the staff that we
Oh
have,
my
quite
God, we have such a
frankly,
great
how
staff,
anybody
I don't know
runs
how
a
they do
cannabis
it.
practice that wouldn't end up in front of the court of New York. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
Bro, that's my point.
yeah.
we
We follow the rules.
to follow the rules.
Exactly. We do. We invest a lot in everything because we want to make sure it's always by the rules.
We do, and we tell patients that,
we
and that's
do.
why we try not to ever engage, in any type of price competition with other
No, because
practices,
we
because
can't. We're who
patients,
we are.
right, can and should have choices to that extent. But we take pride in the fact that we know that none of our patients are ever going to lose their recommendation because of something
Never, because
that
of
we
anything
didn't
but that
do.
we didn't do. And we follow the rules, and we're here 5 days a week. We
But the
just
point
do
is,
the
we
right
need
thing
that
always.
seat at the OMU table, and we deserve that seat at the
Absolutely.
OMU table.
Absolutely.
There are those
We
of
have
us,
thousands of patients,
there are-
thousands of people.
and there are those of us that have
we're
been out here
protecting.
doing it with legitimacy and honesty and integrity for, quite frankly, a long time now. Haven't mentioned my age yet in the green room. No, I'm kidding. But we've really seen. No, but the point is, what we're seeing now in 23 is just a continued evolution in so many different things.
Yeah.
The confusion in healthcare,
Yeah.
the difficulty in healthcare, the fact that doctors and patients deserve and need every arrow out of the quiver, in healthcare today. It's not easy. And it's not easy being a doctor, and it's not easy being a patient. And,
No,
it's kind of my
neither.
newest joke in the bag. Cannabis has the softest tipped arrow in the quiver, as I think we talked last week, with Jody. So we got to continue to make sure that we're bringing that focus. And it gets
We do.
confusing when you have an entire other side right now, of the space, quite frankly, and that's just out there allowed, quite
But
frankly, to
what's
sell
amazing?
product.
This is the other thing, Facebook jail. So we were thrown into Facebook jail for months.
Happen again, probably.
And it will happen again because we're not hemp and we're not CBD, but we're medical cannabis. And that to Facebook is Facebook jail time. So long as you don't say medical cannabis, you're okay, but you can say CBD. You can say THC 10, you can say Delta 10, Delta 8,
6,
whatever,
10,
10, whatever
8.
you want. Those are okay.
THC.
Yeah, whatever you want to say on here is fine. But for us who are doing the right thing by state guidelines, sorry, you cannot advertise under Facebook. Or otherwise you go.
It's interesting too, because there was another, and it was a subtle law signed late by the governor that you're not allowed to recreationally advertise cannabis in our space, right? So this is confusing to me because these products are all being sold.
Actually, that's really
recreationally.
Good. That's a really good point, because this is all recreational.
Well, it was a question that I was going to ask, quite frankly, in front of the panel.
Yeah, how are they
up in Tallahassee. So
and are they advertising? I'm just wondering, are they advertising any high THC hemp pre-roll?
Oh yeah, no.
Wow.
I mean, it's absolutely advertised recreationally. I mean, it's called forbidden fruit. Right. I mean, what? Who ate the apple off the tree or whatever? Was it Adam or was it Eve or something? Oh, okay. Well,
yeah. Of course, it's a woman that did it.
Yeah, for sure. So I don't know. So my point is that we're heading into this really interesting time. I'm going to be involved in a conversation at the national level this afternoon about rescheduling versus descheduling. There's a huge conversation within the advocate community about the rescheduling, because it just doesn't take care of the criminality.
It doesn't take care of a lot.
It doesn't.
Really
And it almost makes it worse to a certain extent in a lot of ways.
It doesn't make it.
Mark Hashem, a doctor who I like and I respect from up in Tampa, known him for years, talked the other evening on our doctor meeting about unintended consequences, and the control, that may happen when something gets put into a Schedule 3, such things that I don't mind. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for it, but I want to be a part of it. practice standards.
Oh,
Okay.
really?
Sure, there may be some degree of a setup of a determined cannabis practice standard if you're going to be prescribing a now Schedule 3, because
That's
now it's
interesting.
prescribing.
Oh, now it's prescribing.
Now it's prescribing. It's not recommending anymore.
Oh, it's prescribing.
It's
Oh,
prescribing.
so
So
now wait a minute. So this changes the game a lot. So
well, it
this
does,
is
you know, and, you know,
like from prescription pads, like, hey, we're gonna have to like.
it
come
does.
up with
Oh,
new
listen,
stuff.
the conversation, like I said,
Oh,
you know,
wow.
it's 3 green rooms or pharmacies all of a sudden going to be
Yeah,
able to
listen,
have it.
pharmacy's gonna do
Right.
it.
You know,
Yeah, this would be
so
interesting.
it does. And I think it came up in
Insurance.
Yeah,
right.
that's the other thing. Then it opens.
Well,
the
no,
door
there's
for
positives and
insurance.
negatives. The
But
positives when
that-
insurance start to cover
But
it,
again, it's
right?
still not federally accepted. So like, as like, I don't know.
That's what happens when they reschedule,
Reschedule.
then it does, but then it becomes a drug, then it stays illegal. And just like you can't, you know,
But
go
then-
and
then
you know,
if it becomes, okay, but then it opens the door for insurance? Because I didn't read
it may
anything,
or
but
may
I-
not.
I
It
didn't
depends, you
read
know,
anything
insurance
about-
companies are gonna fight against it because they
Yeah,
don't want
'cause
to pay
it's-
the money.
'cause
You know,
it's
and
still-
farm until they
yeah.
get involved, they're not going to be on it either. So my point
Interesting.
is, and you know, there's going to be unintended consequences, and it's like anything else, you know.
Okay, so wait a minute. So this is my questions, because now we're doing it by just milligrams and methods. So how are you gonna, so then what do we have to go by strand? So you're gonna have to do indica sativa? Are you gonna have
That's
to like,
why-
that opens up.
That's why cannabis does not fall into the conventional
It doesn't.
model.
So how
of
are you gonna
pharma.
prescribe that? You can't. That doesn't make sense to
That's
me.
why it's a conversation that has to be done
Doctors who
with
do
the
it.
doctors
With the doctors
involved.
involved,
You know.
absolutely.
So, you know, we're going to continue to be, you know, the squeaky wheel that we are, and continue to, you know, with vigor, pay attention to everything, both at the state level, which I think ultimately is more important. A lot of the conversations that I've had is that when the feds do what the feds do, the states will still continue to pretty much rule the roost with implementation and local control, so to speak, you know, over their state's programs. I've been told not to fear anything that would happen from rescheduling, that it necessarily wouldn't change things that I'd be doing day to day. But, you know, listen, it's hard to say for sure. But my point is 5 years ago was different, and 5 years from now is going to be different.
Very different. It will
And
be.
what I'm going to put in my op-ed that I'm going to pen is the message that I give to patients pretty much every day, my 30-second elevator speech, and you've heard it. You have to utilize cannabis in the light of 2023. It's not the guy on the front of the zigzag paper smoking the THC joint. It's THC.
Johnny, like, I think did she?
Yeah, we gotta get it right now.
Johnny.
But the point is that was THC only, right? In general, you know, catch a buzz, you know, this, that, whatever, you know, Viva la cannabis. But the point is now it's THC in all of the cannabinoids in that unique, you know, entourage fashion that we, you know, call it. Of course, pharma will never get that. Okay.
No.
And the second thing, of course, and this is where pharma can be useful, is in the patches and the creams and
Yeah,
the
that's
tinctures
something
and the
different.
various
Yeah,
formulations.
the
So I've always said, let pharma do what pharma do
Yeah.
and add to our space, but don't take away
Don't
our
take away.
products.
They can't take
right?
away either, because there's just some things you
And
can't.
you're never going to be able to hold pharma back. I mean, they have too much money and too much
Yeah.
power.
But you know, I want to
So-
give a quick shout out. Sunburn invited us, one of the local dispensaries, out to see
Glad you
their
mentioned
grow
It's on my-
last week. And, you know, I have to give again, this versus what they do. You know, you go to something and you see exactly how they're growing, how they produce, how they take care of the plant.
You can see the love
I
just
mean,
emanate
they
out of the
love- they
growers.
do. The growers like love what they do. They really do. And honestly, they're careful with the products. They're careful, like they really baby these
Well,
plants.
they're banded from the moment they're about that high.
Yeah, I
They
mean,
track
it's
them and they
amazing.
follow
track
them.
and they follow and they grow, they cut. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful process. And honestly, it was really like, I was so pleasantly surprised to see the process. And I was like, and even the staff, we were all like, it was really nice to see how they do it. And to see the level of like, wow, what care it is. And so again, like this versus that, you can't. And even they said, they're like, you know, we're regulated. We have to be careful of what we do with the plant and everything. And it's
a unique combination of
unique.
automation with the
Yeah.
rolling things,
a
this,
little bit,
that.
but
you
then
know.
cutting by hand They have
But
a
then
roll
the cutting by
by
hand,
hand. They
no
have a
doubt.
roll where people are literally trimming
It
by hand.
is.
It's amazing.
It is
to
such a unique
see.
combination. We always
Very.
make a point, and I've been to other grows. When I go to a grow, I always like to tell the people behind the scenes, the people that are doing the trimming, the people that are doing the growing, what a difference that they're making in the patient care world, because they don't see it.
They don't see it.
You know, and most of them are patients, I would suspect, but the point is, they really don't see the end point that we see every
No,
day on the
every
medical
day.
side. And it's really important for them to know that, you know,
It is,
and
it
we
is.
were really impressed by the sunburn.
It's like
They had
just
a good vibe
a
up there.
good. They truly love, like you could see the love, like really, they love their job and they love the plant. Like it was really pleasant. It was a very pleasant experience. So again, if you're looking for something, go to a medical physician, go through the legal process, go to.
Listen, we're gonna fight to keep our products
dispensary, but not
untaxed.
this
We're
this
gonna
crap that's out
fight
there.
to make sure our products are untaxed. We're gonna fight to make sure that our products are the best quality that we can have with the labeling and the testing and the assurance of what you're getting. And listen, you know, quality is quality. We invite, you know, everybody really to be safe and to get educated, of course, you know.
And we're excited
and to
again,
find
in
the
like a
clinic.
couple weeks, we
Yep.
have the consortium coming out, which is an amazing step in, and kudos to this practice. That we're probably going to start working with the consortium to do some test tracking of patients.
We want to track
some
new
outcomes,
patients
new
that have never used cannabis. And as a
Yeah,
medical clinic, we get them every
we get it
day.
every day. And
So-
I think we're really honored that they're gonna hopefully work with us. I mean,
Yeah, it's gonna be a good month.
That's a
Be a
pretty
fast
big thing.
month. It'll be Halloween. before we know it.
Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas. So
And Don, you're gonna be away for a couple weeks, so we're gonna take a break from the green room, I think, for a week or two, or?
No.
no,
Max does
he's
it
just,
this month? No.
Oh, good, okay. Oh, awesome,
Next month.
okay, good.
So again, reggae nights come on out Saturday, and that is on the island at Centennial Park. So come on out. So it starts, I guess the music starts 5 to 9. The music's 5 to 9, but I think they start like around 3 o'clock.
Yeah, there's other things that
There's
go on a
other
little bit
things.
earlier.
So we'll have a table, so come out and visit. Tiffany is gonna be the main person heading our table, so go visit Tiffany. I know you'll be there.
Yeah, I'm going for sure.
So,
For
I mean,
sure.
come on out, and then open house, invite your friends and check on Facebook and check my page. I know I have a lot of listeners. A lot of people already said they can't wait to come out. So spread the word, bring a friend, bring a couple of friends and come on out.
And it's 1 year since the hurricane, so I want to
Yeah.
give a big shout out to everybody still out there recovering and
Without-
healing. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
still trying to get like screen repair and all of that.
Chaos, life goes on.
Chaos goes on.
See you next week at the Green